40 years later, talking to his grandkid, saying, "Come sit on my lap, son. Let me tell you about this sailor named Paul. Let me tell you about this guy named Paul. You'll never believe it." Your words and your actions have consequences. And I mean that in a positive way, too. Everything you say and think and do, as long as it's honoring God, you're going to positively affect someone. We talked about sin a couple Sunday nights ago. Sin having tentacles. There's no such thing as a victimless crime. There's really no such thing as a victimless sin. Sin spreads, but so does kindness. So how do we apply this? What I've been hearing, which has really made me joyous, is that some of the challenges that I give you every week, and again, none of them are really theologically deep or something that you can't do. I'm starting to get some feedback, and I know that you're trying to reach out to other people, and I truly appreciate that. So one thing, this challenge is more for yourself. You need to ask yourself some questions this week, and this is a big one. What is my legacy as a Christian? Your experiences, what you witness, maybe the kindness that you see, it's going to lead someone to Christ. The greatest compliment someone could give you is, "Why are you the way you are?" In a good way. I want what you have. I see the way that you treat your wife. I see the way that you excel through adversity. I see the way that you pray publicly. That's what I want, and that's the legacy that I want to have as a Christian. This next point, actually the next two questions, is very similar to Holly, what you were talking about this morning in class. Will doing what I'm about to do advance Christ's cause or detract from it? And I think part B there, would Jesus be comfortable with my thoughts, words, or actions? Now, if I may repeat what you said, Holly, you said something to the effect of, if Jesus came right now, would he be happy with what he sees and what I'm doing? I can't answer that question for you, but it's something that I think we need to take some serious inventory about, because it's a serious one. And finally, every story has decision points. Do you know how, I was reading this, do you know approximately how many decisions that you make as an adult every day? Take a guess. Take a guess.
275.
35,000. 35,000. Now, not every one is critical. I mean, it could be as simple as, should I get 2% or almond milk? No, that's not a critical decision, probably. 35,000 decisions we need to make every single day. And when we do this, we're going to leave our comfort zone. Now, who left his comfort zone as much as Paul? Probably no one. And this is why I said a couple weeks ago to repeat, don't be a lukewarm Christian, because you will be spit out. Don't be tepid. You can't advance the gospel if you're hiding from everyone, right? And we're all called to do different things. You may offend someone with what you said. You might. But you know what? You just might save someone's life. Doesn't that make it all worthwhile? I love the story of Gideon when God proved that he could do more with 300 sold-out followers than hundreds of thousands of half-hearted followers. Think about that when we get all uppity about church size and attendance. And I'm not saying that stuff's not important, because it is. But wouldn't you rather have a smaller group of sold-out Christians than a bigger group where 50% couldn't care less? God can do amazing things, and we show up as a unit. And kindness, by the way, does not equal fairness. I kind of said that earlier. Just because you're kind to a stranger on the street later today does not mean that they in turn will be kind to you. Does not mean that life is fair and justice is always the way it is. No. If you sit there and you try to out-logic God, you're going to lose every time. If you try to figure out why, well, justice is perverted, I deserve better, you know what? You don't get to decide that. You're not responsible for what happens to you. You're only responsible for your effort. You let God worry about that. And that's why we talk about the fruits of the Spirit. You bear fruit. and leave the rest up to God. I've heard that there is a bit of good in the worst of us and a bit of bad in the best of us. I'll tell you what, before I became a Christian, I was really, really, really good at pointing out the flaws of people. Like, really good. If it were an Olympic event, I probably would have medaled. I can sit here and point out everyone's flaws if I really wanted to. And you know what? You can do the same thing, and you can do it to me. And it's really easy to do that. Is that how you want to spend your days, though? Is that really worth it? When you're complaining about one another and constantly questioning others' motives, you know what that does? I think in a way, you're insulting God. You're saying, God, I know better than you. Your creation, he's no good, and I'm better than him. That's when God looks at you and says, oh, really? I'm not saying we're going to all get along all the time. I'm not saying kindness is 100% foolproof. But boy, when we treat others the way we're supposed to treat them, isn't that at least a beginning to setting this crazy world back to where it needs to be? Be kind to a stranger. Open your home to a neighbor. You know what? Call a friend you haven't talked to in a week, in a month, in a year, just to say hi. And I don't mean Facebook hi. LOL. Hey. Pick up the phone. Remember those? And actually call, not text, actually call someone. Say, you know what? I've been thinking about you. I've been praying for you. What can I pray about? Let's meet and get some coffee. It's the power of one. What you say will save someone's life. Let's finish with the story about Julio. Julio Diaz, remember, he was a social worker from the Bronx, and he was about to be attacked. Fortunately, he wasn't. I'm going to let him give you the rest of this story. So he gives him the wallet, and he says, here you go. He starts to leave, and he's walking away, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. You forgot something. If you're going to be robbing people for the rest of the night, you might as well take my coat to keep you warm. So he's looking at me like, what's going on here? And he asks me, why are you doing this? And I say, well, I don't know. If you're willing to risk your freedom for a few dollars, then I guess you must really need the money. I mean, all I wanted to do was go to the diner and get myself a sandwich. And you know what? If you feel like it, you're welcome to join me. Can you imagine this would-be robber is, what? What's going on? So anyway, so guess what? They end up going to the diner together. And I'll let Julio continue. He says, the kid realizes that I know everyone there, and I'm nice to everyone there, even to the guy who washes the dishes. And I said, haven't you been taught that you should be nice to everybody? And he says, yeah, but I didn't think people actually behave that way. So the bill comes, and I look at him, and I say, look, I guess you're going to have to pay for the bill because, well, you've got my wallet, and I can't pay for it if you have my money. So I tell you what, if you give me my wallet back, I will gladly treat you. So he does. And then I give him $20, and all I ask for in return is his knife. And he gave it to me. And then he finishes, he says, I figure if you treat people right, you can only hope that they treat you right. It's as simple as it gets in this complicated world. As we go to the invitation, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, sometimes it's a little clunky at the end. Sometimes I feel a little awkward. However, I will say this. We have to look at the invitation as a gift. And this is the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, Jesus died for us. We all know that. I'm not going to get theological, but this is a gift that offers peace that surpasses understanding. So if you need to come forward, if you need to be baptized, if you just have questions, if you want to start a Bible study, just contact me immediately or contact one of the other men or women immediately after church. It's really important that you respond. Okay, Jesus, remember him? Jesus' response were as follows. He was betrayed by Judas, yet he accepted him. He was sold down the river by Peter, yet he reinstated him. He was mocked, he was spit on, he was beaten, and ultimately crucified by the Romans and by the Jews. Yet he exercised restraint. What did he say up there? He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He was found guilty, even though he was innocent. He was found guilty so that you and I could live out our lives. He was found guilty on our behalf because he loves us. Let's stand and sing.
Would you be free from the burden of sin? There's power